Our next speaker is Mr. Thusanta Wijemanna. He is a lawyer as well as the present Director General of SAARC Arbitration Council in Islamabad, Pakistan. Before that, he was legal advisor to the Ministry of External Affairs in Colombo, and he was the Chief Legal Officer of Sampath Bank and DFCC Bank, General Counsel of the DFCC Group prior to assuming his duties as the Director General of SAARC Arbitration Council. Now I kindly invite Mr. Thusanta Wijemanna to deliver to make your representation.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, President Council and Honorable Minister of Justice, Dr. Pratibha Mahanama Hewa, Dean of the Faculty of Law, other presenters, Head of the Department and the academic staff of the Law Faculty of the Kotalawala Defence University, participants. At the outset, I would like to thank the Sir John Kotalawala Defence University Faculty of Law for inviting me to make this presentation. In fact, when I came here, I had a PowerPoint presentation prepared, but having listened to the other presenters, I thought I will not go according to the PowerPoint presentation, but I will raise some of the issues that the investors and the traders in this country are faced with because of certain lack of professionalism with regard to the way that we practice the law. Because the theme of the conference is inculcating professionalism for national development. And the session, the topic is inculcating professional ethics for legal practice. If you look at it, I am looking at from the regional perspective. If you look at the South Asian region, we have out of the total global population of 7.3 billion, 1.7 billion people, which is about 23% of the world population is in South Asia. If you take the youth population in this South Asia, out of the total youth population of 1.8 billion in the world, SAARC region has approximately 494 million, which is 27% of the total world population, total world youth population. If you look at the total foreign direct investment in South Asia in the year 2014, it was only US dollars 41 billion, which is 1.7% of the world inflow of FDI, foreign direct investment. We have a population of 25%, but we get only 1.7% of the total world direct foreign direct investment. 1.4 billion Asians earn less than the poverty threshold of US dollars $1.25 per day. If you look at the total intra-regional trade in South Asia, it's only 2% of the GDP among the South Asian countries, whereas it is 40% of their GDP among the ASEAN countries. We have a market of 25% of the world market, but we are unable to sell our goods within this market. Why is that? Why is this imbalance of trade, imbalance of investment? Why is that there is no inter-regional investment, inter-regional trade? Now you will ask me, what has law got to do with this? But my position is, or my argument is, one of the reasons for non-expansion of trade and investment in the region is the inhibition on the part of the investor or the trader to be subject to the jurisdiction of the investee or the buyer when it comes to a dispute resolution, or vice versa. As long as this inhibition is there, people will be dealing when it comes to trade with caution. I am telling you with this, having spoken to a lot of traders in both sides of the border in Pakistan as well as in India. I have visited most of the key business chambers, and then I have spoken to them. Neither party wants to trust each other when it comes to dispute resolution. So how do we get out of this whole thing? We cannot go to court because neither party wants to go into the jurisdiction of the other. So the only way out is ADR, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. Now the question is, do we as lawyers practice ADR in a professional manner? If you look at it, because of this issue, the SAARC leaders, when they met, they found that if you want to accelerate economic growth in the region, they thought one possible way is to have a mechanism which will strengthen the mental trust among the two parties. So as a result, the SAARC Arbitration Council was established, which I am heading. We have brought in all the requirements of what is required to conduct arbitration. But the question is, why people are not coming there for arbitration? They are scared to do trade. They don't want to get under this thing. SAARC Arbitration Council is a very independent institution which is not controlled by any other SAARC countries. Its budget is being contributed by all the SAARC countries. Appointments are rotation. Professionals are recruited from all the countries, so there is not bias. Only thing is, it has its secretariat in Islamabad, because you have to have your secretariat in one of the countries, and SAARC has a mechanism of rotating this secretariat among the different countries. But the question is, why is that people are not coming there? And the next thing is, all these countries, when you go and meet the business community, they prefer to go to Singapore or to Malaysia, but does not look at the other countries. Why is that? What is the mechanism? I asked them. They said, if you go to Singapore, we are sure of getting it done in very short period. They handle it in a very professional manner. Right? But whereas, so even they say they handle it in a very professional manner, that is, in other words, the arbitration centers in the region, we are not handling it in a professional manner. Or in the past, we used to go to London. We used to go to The Hague. But all this has a cost on the trader and the investor. So that is why the purpose of setting the arbitration council in Islamabad was to provide a legal framework within the region for fair, efficient settlement of commercial, investment and other dispute of similar nature through a means of conciliation and arbitration, and to promote the growth of arbitration in the region by providing fair, inexpensive, expeditious arbitral services. Now, I have a mandate, I am prepared to deliver it, right? But I am unable to get people to make use of it, because the people, I can have a good arbitration center, I have the best set of rules, my rules are based on the UNCITRAL model, but I am unable to get this thing, what is called expeditiously done it. I am trying to do it now, setting up time limits. If you come before the SAARC arbitration center hereafter, you have to go home, your award will be given within 6 months or 1 year. We are trying to fix up time limits. Because otherwise what has happened today, the people in the legal profession to whom this arbitration is also been entrusted by the business community has become, I hope that I am not offending anybody or this thing, but it has become the evening practice of the practicing lawyers. They come in the evening at 3 o'clock or 4:30 and hold it for 1.5 hours and go off. But that is not arbitration. So the purpose of an ADR, the expeditious arbitration award, is not getting there. Sometimes it takes 3 years to get an arbitral award. But still it is fast, because if you are in court, it will take 5 years. But the question is, we as professionals, if we are taking into arbitration, if you decide to accept arbitration, make use of the centers, sit in the morning till evening and finish your arbitrations. I am sorry to say that some of the reasons is, when you are selecting your arbitrators, we always think the people, the older the people, the matured the people, they are the only people who have the wisdom. Right? We have young people also who has equally good wisdom. I am not saying that they have to be very young, but say matured people, the middle-aged people. If you would select that type of person, he is prepared to sit for long hours. I am telling with experience, I have gone before arbitrators who are not prepared to sit more than for 2 hours, because they physically cannot sit more than for 2 hours. This is not exaggeration. I am telling you with my own experience. Right? And therefore, arbitrations are postponed. So, if we as a country to go forward, if you are to develop, if you are to encourage foreign direct investment into this country, we must have a mechanism where the dispute can be resolved quickly. The business community is not interested in coming and sitting here, making an investment and waiting for a decision after 2-3 years. They want within 6 months, if there is a dispute, they want a solution. And that solution can be done. We have the infrastructure, we have the rules and regulations in this country, but we have to change our mindset of the people who are making use of this arbitration center. So, this is how professionalism can be brought in to help the development of the country as lawyers. Because we always think another reason I am telling you is, why do we want to go to arbitration? Because arbitration, the procedures are very simple. You will never, I don't think you have ever heard of losing an arbitration on a technical error. But what has happened is, but that easy procedures to be used sometimes becomes very complicated because you have selected the wrong people as your arbitrators. I was told in India, most of the retired Supreme Court judges sit as arbitrators. And sometimes, in fact, one lawyer was telling, the procedure that he adopts is much more stringent than the procedure that is in the court. Because he has the freedom of deciding his own procedure. So therefore, we have to, my appeal to the younger generation is, if we are to go into the encourage investment into this country, and once you become the lawyers, we have to change our mindset, saying that the lawyers who are practicing ADR, that they should practice ADR on full-time basis. Arbitration, conciliation cannot be considered as a part-time practice to lawyers. We should consider this as a full-time practice to the lawyers, so that they come and work the same way that the lawyers appear in court, appear continuously for 2-3 days, and then come out with a solution. If that is possible, then we will be able to attract more foreign investment into this part of the region. Otherwise, this region will always be stagnating. We have the markets, we distrust each other, we will never do cross-border selling, and we will allow the outsiders to come and dump their goods in these markets. When 40% of the trade is taking place among the ASEAN countries, we are doing only 2%. So isn't it something that we should seriously look at it. And why can't we do it? So my appeal to the younger generation is, please look at the future of the country is in your hands. So when you all start practicing, think that the country is at first, and therefore we must do things that is suitable for the country. I'm not saying that you all should not go to court and do only an ADR practice. The judicial process, the judicial practice should continue. But if anybody is going into ADR, my appeal is take it as full time and do it as a full time. And that is the only way that this country can go forward. So you have already set up the International Arbitration Center in the World Trade Center, and I hope in time to come we will be able to do this on a full-time basis and bring in more and more people to come and make use of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Susantha Wijemanne. Now, you can understand that the legal profession is unique. It is dynamic. The scope of the profession is now expanded. Your practice, that your knowledge, your ability is not confined to a courtroom just to make a representation on behalf of a litigant. It is expanded to other various areas, like Mr. Susantha Wijemanne quite correctly addressed the issues in relation to the arbitration. As he mentioned that we have already started an arbitration center in the World Trade Center. We have the confidence we can attract many more litigants, the conflict resolutions towards Colombo, because this region, this part of the Asian region has become a trade hub, and therefore there are enough potentials for us to develop that arbitration center. Now, I think that they were very informative, interesting presentations made by 5 expert panelists.